They say trust is like a mirror. You break it, and no matter how you glue the shards back together, the reflection is always fractured. In my case, that mirror didn't just crack, it was pulverized into dust on a rainy Tuesday. And the weapon of choice? A cheap piece of plastic worth 30 bucks. My name is David. I'm an architect. I build structures that are meant to last centuries. I understand foundations, load-bearing walls, and the subtle shift of a building's frame. I thought my marriage was a skyscraper, strong, elegant, and earthquake-proof. Chloe and I were that couple, the one people looked at with envy. 10 years, a decade of blueprints, shared dreams, and what I thought was an unbreakable partnership. She was a high-end realtor, I was the designer. We were a team, or so I believed. It started with the Chicago project. That's what she called it, a massive client, a multi-million-dollar listing in the Windy City. Suddenly, my wife was flying out every 2 weeks. I was proud of her. I'd drive her to the airport, kiss her at the terminal, and watch her walk away with her rolling suitcase, feeling like the luckiest man alive. I'd have a hot dinner waiting for her when she returned, listening to her talk about exhausting meetings and difficult clients. I was the supportive husband. I was the fool. But as an architect, you learn to spot the smallest structural flaws before the ceiling collapses. She'd come back from these trips not tired, but glowing, electric. She guarded her iPad like it contained the keys to the Vatican. The fog was settling in, and for the first time in 10 years, the air in our home felt heavy. The first crack appeared because of a lost set of keys. I thought I dropped them in her SUV. I started digging under the mats, and there, tucked deep into the corner of the trunk, I felt it. A small, round, white AirTag, a tracking device. My heart did a strange double thump. I called her immediately. "Chloe, why is there an AirTag hidden in your car?" There was a silence on the other end, a silence so long I could hear my own breathing. "Oh, that? That's my mom," she finally chirped. Her voice was too high, too frantic. "She's so paranoid about me driving late, she must have slipped it in there." I hung up. My mother-in-law can barely operate a toaster, let alone sync a hidden GPS tracker. That was the first spark. The second one became a forest fire 2 weeks later, during her next Chicago trip. She sent me a photo of a deep dish pizza. "Thinking of you from the Windy City," the caption read, but she forgot who she was married to. I'm a designer. I look at reflections. I look at shadows. In the curve of the polished steel napkin holder on the table, I saw the reflection of the window behind her. And through that window, I didn't see the gray, rain-slicked streets of Chicago. I saw a neon sign for Miller's Dry Cleaners, a local business, 3 miles from our front door. The world didn't spin. It stopped. My logical brain began to analyze the data, the AirTag, the lie about her mother, the confidential meetings, the neon sign. I opened the Find My app on my phone. She had turned off her phone's location, but she had forgotten about the AirTag. The little silver dot wasn't at O'Hare Airport. It was at a luxury apartment complex on the other side of town. I sat in my darkened living room for 2 hours watching that silver dot. I wanted to be wrong. I prayed for a logical explanation. But people don't lie about being in a different state just to visit a friend. I drove there. The rain was coming down in sheets, a cold, relentless assault. I found her SUV exactly where the app said it would be. I parked a block away, turned off my lights, and waited. The silence in the car was deafening, broken only by the rhythmic thumping of the wipers. At 7 p.m., the lobby doors opened. Out walked Chloe. She wasn't wearing her power suit. She was wearing that blue sundress, the one I bought her for our anniversary trip to Maui, the one she knew I loved. And she wasn't alone. A man had his arm around her waist. He whispered something in her ear, and she laughed. That genuine, heartfelt laugh I thought was reserved only for me. He kissed her, and the way she melted into him. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a one-time thing. It was a life, a secret, parallel life built on the ruins of ours. Adrenaline is a strange drug. It made my hands shake, but it made my mind crystal clear. I didn't jump out and scream. I didn't smash his windows. I reached for my phone and hit record. I filmed the kiss. I filmed them walking to his car. I filmed the way he opened the door for her, the door to my wife. When I got home, I didn't cry. The time for tears had passed in that rainy parking lot. I went into our bedroom and started packing. But I wasn't packing my bags, I was packing hers. Every designer dress, every pair of expensive shoes, every piece of jewelry I had bought her to celebrate her success. I moved it all to the garage. Then I called a locksmith. I sat down with her iPad. The password was our wedding date. The ultimate insult. I found everything. His name was Tyler. They'd met at the gym 6 months ago. The Chicago project was their code for hotel hookups and long weekends at his place. I read messages where she mocked my predictability. She told him I was safe but boring. She used the money from our joint account to pay for their dinners. 2 days later, she returned. I watched her on the Ring doorbell camera. She tried her key. It didn't turn. She frowned, tried again, then rang the bell, looking confused and impatient. I opened the door, but I didn't move from the threshold. "David, what's going on? The lock is stuck," she said, putting on her tired traveler face. "How was Chicago, Chloe?" My voice was dead, flat, no emotion left. "It was fine, exhausting. Can I come in? I just want a shower." "I don't know." I leaned against the doorframe. "It's a long drive from Miller's Dry Cleaners. Only 3 miles, but it must be exhausting to lie that much." Her face didn't just drop, it shattered. The mask she'd been wearing for 6 months disintegrated in an instant. She started to stammer, a frantic word salad of excuses. I didn't let her finish. I turned the iPad screen toward her and hit play. The video of the kiss, the reflection in the napkin holder, the screenshots of her telling Tyler how much she loved him. She didn't even try to deny it. She just started to wail, that high-pitched, desperate sound of a predator caught in a trap. All the "I'm so sorry" and "it didn't mean anything" sounded like cheap static. She wasn't sorry she did it. She was sorry she got caught because of a reflection and a $30 gadget. "Your things are in the garage. My lawyer will call you Monday," I said. And then I did something I should have done months ago. I closed the door. Ending a 10-year marriage is like an amputation. You still feel the phantom pain. You wake up in the middle of the night reaching for someone who isn't there. But then the logic kicks back in. I didn't lose the love of my life. I lost a lie. The woman I loved wouldn't have eaten pizza 3 miles away while I sat at home waiting for her. Today I live in a different city. I have my own firm now. Betrayal changes you. It gives you a superpower. You see people for exactly who they are, not who you want them to be. Trust your gut. Technology can glitch and people will lie to your face, but your intuition, it's the only blueprint that never fails. This story is a reminder that the truth always finds a way out, usually through the cracks we leave behind. If you've ever had to become a detective in your own marriage, you know exactly how David felt. What's the most creative way you've ever seen a cheater get caught? Share it below. If you think David did the right thing by locking her out, hit the like button. Subscribe for more stories where the truth hits hard. I'll see you in the next investigation.